truck. My
Whoops.
truck is a 99 Hummer H1, like the original Hummer built for civilians, right?
Mm.
Very nice truck, like very rare, nice truck. Anyways, um, I thought it was invincible. And I was like, you know what? This is the ultimate truck. Like I drove them in the military. They don't get stuck, whatever. All right. Well, we get these things called nor'easters out here in New England. They're hurricanes in the winter. So
Oh,
they bring like nasty snowstorms. And it was calling for 2 feet. So I fucking loaded up the H1s, drove north to Vermont, which is like Oregon for you guys. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Drove north and I'm at my buddy's house. He's a chiropractor and they're calling for 2 feet. Okay, fine. Wake up the next day, go snowboarding. After I go snowboarding, I come back to his driveway and there's like 3 feet of snow. There's 3 feet. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, it hasn't been plowed. I'm like, I should be fine. So I'm
3 feet
going.
of snow. You're going to be fine.
I'm in a Hummer.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm fine. I'm going. It's plowing the snow, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I get to a hill in the driveway, and I'm just spinning, and I'm digging down into the dirt, right? Because the driveways out there are like rock and like dirt. They're not like gravel. And I'm like, shit, I'm stuck. I couldn't go anywhere.
Mm.
So I call my buddy, and I'm like, dude, um, I got a fucking problem here. And he's like, oh yeah, I should have had my snow guy plow. We're not usually there midweek. We're usually there on the weekends. I'm like, yeah, you want to call him? The guy shows up, right? He's in a 4500 Chevy dually with chains on the tires. He's like, oh, you're stuck, huh? I'm like, yeah. He got stuck trying to
Uh,
get me, right? Truck dies.
yeah.
Won't start back up. His truck won't start back up.
From the cold or just,
Just an immense amount of snow. Like
wow. Okay.
at this point, there'd been 3 feet in less than 24 hours.
Wow.
And he calls his boss. Now, these guys are professional snow movers. Like they're the people that
Yeah.
plow the driveway. His boss comes out, breaks his plow on the driveway in the snow.
Jeez.
I'm like, okay. All right. So, moral of the story is we don't have any snow right now. However, we got pummeled a couple weeks ago and I tested the limits and found them in an H1.
Dang. So did you ultimately get it out?
Yeah, eventually. I felt like a fucking bitch though. I was talking to you on the phone when that was happening.
I
You remember
know.
that?
I do.
I
I
told
do.
you about this. So you know about
You
this.
were debating whether to stay a day or and just write it out or go for it.
I wrote it out. I was like, shit. I had a conversation with these guys. There was two of them. I mean, they were pretty simple, they're simple minded, but I was like, boys, listen, what are we doing wrong here? Like, you guys are professional snow movers. I can solve problems. Like, what is this? And they're like, Chris, this is just a magical storm. Like,
Yeah.
you're screwed. Shit. Ended up being 46 inches in 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty incredible. And my buddy's like, hey, can you shovel my deck? And I'm like, no, I'm not shoveling 4 feet of snow. It's not happening.
The weight of 4 feet snow, though, like that could do some damage if you don't get that off of your like roofs and decks.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I'll get hurt. Call someone. Like, I'll pay for it. It's not happening. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Was your Hummer okay?
Yeah, it was fine.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
nice.
good. It's fine.
So it's
We're good.
it's still invincible. It just got a little, a little stop on the way.
Yeah, I just, took one on the chin, much like life is, take one on the chin.
Nice. So you still recommend a 99 Hummer?
I mean, no, it's not a comfortable vehicle. A um it's not fun to drive. It's like driving a bus. It's hard to keep it in the lanes.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's 11,000 pounds. It gets 3 miles to a gallon. It's on diesel. There's 2 tanks. So when you fill it up, it's like $400.
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah. You know what it is? It's a head turner. Everyone's like, oh, a Hummer.
Old
You know,
school.
it's like, you know, you probably see Lamborghinis and Ferraris all the time. You don't see Hummers. You
Right.
know what I mean? So like it's a serious head turner. I mean, it's a business vehicle. It's technically an asset. And they appreciate, unlike most vehicles, but it's more of a pain in the ass than anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you want that type of vehicle, yeah, get one. It's not a daily driver. It's definitely not a day.
Yeah.
You have to have at least one other vehicle, like, or you're just going to be, you know, driving a bus for a daily driver.
Yeah, not for me. I am not a classical car, truck, anything. I like all the modern new stuff. Like I love that kind of stuff. So I would never opt for something like that personally.
Oh, are you in Tesla land?
Yeah, but I don't do that. I don't the whole stopping to charge or that whole thing. I mean, as is, our power grids are getting shut down all the time already. That's the last thing I want to contribute to at this point.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I like new too, but this was just a learning experience.
Yeah. Well, I think, like you said, it's not your main car. So you can,
No,
not drive it in the winter, but cruise it around, turn
yeah,
some heads.
yeah. Deliver some watches. Hey,
Yeah,
did you buy
exactly.
this watch? Oh, I'm delivering it in a Hummer.
You want to take a picture with it? You
Yeah.
post on social media? Isn't this
Mm-hmm.
cool? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
is that your girl? That's your dog, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's Penelope.
Yeah. Oh,
She's chilling. She just ate dinner.
look at her. She
Yeah,
knows you're talking about her.
she's like, Chris, you're doing podcasts all day today. What's going on here? Pay
Yeah.
attention to me.
Yeah. Time to go for walks. Does
I,
she
j-
make
I
you?
s- yeah, I see Watley's hat back there. I just got off an interview with him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. He's the man. Loved
yeah,
him.
he's a great one. Yeah,
So the one thing you're not going to see is your book because somehow I lost it between Evolve and Home. Like I've spent the last 2 weeks like ripping everything apart. Like I'm like, where the fuck did it go? I had no idea. So that's why I audibled it so that I still know all the information before our podcast here.
you probably should check the dumpster. It's probably there with the rest of them. Everyone was probably like, "Get this shit out of here."
What do you mean? I had the autograph copy and everything, like, and you could have gone
You
to my
lost it.
little list and
We'll have to send you out another copy. We got plenty.
oh, good. Yeah, please do. I would like to add it to my collection and we can just have it here with all the different authors that I've read their books and had them on the show.
Got you. I'm writing down a note right now so I don't forget.
Do I need to text Paula? Paula?
I mean, that would help. However, Post-its work too.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. Wasn't sure how much she picked up before you dropped off. Like,
You know about the cool thing about Paola is also the Achilles heel, right? Like I hired her to be a personal assistant, a PA, and she's now a director. She's my creative director, and she has a department and a team and everything. And it's really hard letting her or getting her to let go of
mm,
the assisting stuff, you know,
mhm,
and you know, things like that she would love to do. However, I'm trying to move those sorts of things off her plate. The hard part about it is I had to condition her to like
mhm,
do these things, you know, because like you have assistant, like you understand, like that type of job is very unique to who you're assisting. So, you know, you're an author, like being an author, like, oh yeah, you have to get these books ready to ship. And they're like, huh? What? So
mhm.
it's like ingrained into them, like how to do the process. We have systems and processes for shipping books. Do you?
Well, I'm not that big of an author. Mine are just on Amazon, but I have systems and processes for
Same.
everything else in my organization from
Mhm.
yeah, every possible thing you could possibly do. But I mean, I think that's just the case when somebody learns it, they just that's the problem with elevating is you don't want to lose control because you want it done right. And it's easier just to do it yourself than try to train somebody else or turn it over.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's a cool thing about systems, though, right? Because you could be like, okay, here's the systems.
Yeah.
You know, let me know if you have questions. I mean, that's not the ideal way to do things, but it's a system. So you could hand it off and be like, let me know if you have questions.
Yeah, but if it's a good system and you've put a lot of work into it, you got your Loom videos, it could pretty much
Yeah.
replace a person if you put everything. We have Trainial, we have all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff where we try to train our different positions. But
Yeah.
you're right, there needs to be a check and balance with like, but do you understand the information that you've just watched and did? Like there should be like a test.
We actually today just finished rehauling everything. So what I do is sometimes quarterly, but typically biannually, we go through every system
Mm,
and update it if
yep.
it needs to be updated. So actually I just got done reviewing everything. Like I don't write the systems anymore, but I'll review it and be like, okay, does this work? Okay,
Yeah.
great. Have fun. But we just did it. I mean, I think they're integral parts to businesses, as you know. But I'm sure you didn't have me on here to talk about systems and processes.
I mean, we can. It's not the most exciting things to talk about. I mean, you have a
Yeah,
much more exciting life than systems and
yeah,
processes that,
yeah.
I think would be more fun to talk about.
Listen, fire away. Get an EOS person on here if you want to talk systems.
Exactly. Exactly. And I have plenty of those. But
Yeah,
again, we
same.
want good content, not
Yeah,
not boring. This is
yeah,
going rogue. This isn't going very standard and by the book.
yeah. Well, good. Well, thank you for having me. I mean,
Ah,
fundamentally, I appreciate it.
yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming on. So let's talk about you. Growing up, were you always pretty straight and narrow, or were you all okay? So you
Oh,
pushed
does
the
that answer your
boundaries. You were
question?
not. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you set it up.
No, no, I was a piece of shit, honestly. A lot of people don't know. I mean, I talk about it publicly, but um, my dad was dying as a kid, and I knew he was dying. And between that and a divorce, like, no, I mean, I think I was arrested 3 times before 16.
Mhm.
And I loved to fight. I was angry. I was just an angry dude. I had no emotional control. I was into physical sports, lacrosse, football, wrestling. So I was always, always, always the goon on the field.
Mm,
Off the field at parties, I was always trying to fight people. At school, I was suspended for fighting often, not like one-off scenarios.
mm,
The Boy Scouts tried to straighten me out. That didn't work. I've recently found out, recently within the past couple of years, my guidance counselor from high school contacted me to shoot a video for the teacher that failed me my senior year. However, politics graduated me
mm,
because I was going into the military. I didn't
mm.
know that. I didn't know I failed high school. I was passed. But anyways, the guy was dying of cancer, and they asked me to shoot a video to tell him like how much impact he made on my life by holding me accountable. And I was like,
Wow.
I failed high school. So and so's dying. Like what the fuck is going on here?
So
Um,
crazy.
but the only thing that straightened me out was boot camp.
Mm,
I mean, my parents couldn't do it. Not that I'm taking anything away from them. I'm just saying they couldn't
yeah.
do it. High school couldn't do it. Boy Scouts couldn't do it. Sports couldn't do it. And, I was like, all right, well, I knew I needed direction. Went to boot camp, boom, like within 12 weeks, completely different.
Wow. What
Yeah.
made you even want to go there? Like, why was that even an option? Did they recruit you or something in your heart said that's what you needed to do?
Well, keep in mind when I was going through high school, the towers came down, and
Mm,
that really didn't sit well with me. I mean, a lot of things could be said on who's responsible for that now, which pretty much seems like our federal government. But at the time, I thought it was all Al Qaeda and so on and so forth. So the patriotic call, but I also
mm,
knew that if I had kept going down the road that I was on, it wasn't going to turn out well. I was dealing I was selling weed, I was dealing drugs, like I was fighting, I was constantly in trouble.
yeah.
And
And
what's
once you
I
turn
knew,
18, that
yeah,
consequence gets a whole lot harder. When you're in juvenile, you
yeah,
get little hand slaps, but when you become an adult, that follows you.
yeah. And then I got to boot camp and I was like,
Ooh.
okay, got it. I understand. I'm not in control. Okay, I'll just shut the fuck up.
Mm. You didn't challenge any of the commanding officers or anything like that. You knew your place. You knew survival was to just get in line.
Listen, when I was in, you get the shit beaten out of you.
Mm.
Still, still. I mean, when I went in, and it's not even
I don't
that
know
long.
about nowadays, but
No,
yeah,
no,
but back then,
no,
yes.
no. There's timeout cards in the military now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The, these people go to war.
Yeah.
Anyways, what it wasn't even that long ago, 20 years ago when I went in, you still had to spit shine your boots and
Mm.
starch your uniforms. Starch and press your uniform. Like they look good, they're
Yeah.
like there's fine lines down the side, and it takes a half hour to do your uniform every night after you take it off. If you're going to use that one, you got to spray it with starch, you got to iron it, you got to spit shine your boots every single day.
Yeah.
Now you just throw your uniform in the wash and pull it out. There's nothing to it.
Where's the pride? Where's the, work? Where's the, like, I feel good about this and I got to represent?
There's a guy I'm working with right now. I'm mentoring him. He just got out of Ranger Battalion, and he was only in for the past 9 years. And I was like, "What's it like?" And he's like, "It's soft. It's pathetic." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah. The quality is just terrible. These are fucking Rangers.
Right. The
These are like
elite.
high speed dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like."
Yeah.
And he's talking about how soft it is, and I watched it happen while I was in, but no, I didn't talk back to anyone. I mean, you get the shit beaten out of you.
Yeah. You did two
I,
tours though, right?
yeah, I did two combat tours. Yep. So
Yeah.
I did Baghdad 2005, 2006, and then Baghdad 2007, 2008. Different parts of Baghdad, but Baghdad's the capital of Iraq. Yeah.
Mm. Would you say that trauma followed you home?
Oh God. Yeah, 100%. So here's a interesting statistic that most people don't know. Um, Approximately 1% of the American population serves in the military, and 1% of the military sees combat.
Mm.
So combat guys like, for instance, I was in combat for 26 months
Wow.
between two tours. Combat guys, like, there's a lot that could be said right now, and I'm almost shunned by the community because I talk about combat. I mean, you heard my book, like my opening story is about getting wounded.
Yeah.
Um, Most combat guys don't talk about combat to anyone that's not seen it. Like even military people that haven't seen combat.
Wouldn't you say
So
that's been changed though by people like Jocko, who's made it very public and he's so well known now? Maybe he started helping that come to light.
you talk to other SEALs and they fucking hate him.
Mm.
You talk to any special operations guy in the community, any combat guy, and they despise him. Same with Goggins, same with Marcus Luttrell, same with Chris
Mm.
Kyle, the guys before
Yep.
Goggins and um Jocko. So we're shunned. I'm not like grouping myself with Goggins and Jocko. However, to a degree, I am. Like we're shunned because we're public about it, but everybody needs to know.
Right.
Yes, the trauma that I accrued specifically on my first tour
Yeah.
was life changing in the perspective then as terrible, but my perspective now as awesome. Like I'm so grateful for that tour now because my mind has evolved greatly because of trying to undo that trauma. That's the irony.
Yeah. So it caused you to when you left to get right into personal development, or there was like a process, or
Yeah.
what got you to get to the other side of that?
Yeah, so I was pretty fucked up. I when I say I was fucked up, like I was angry. I mean, keep in mind, I said who I was as a child growing up. I was angry.
Hmm.
But then you go into the military and you're being trained for combat to fucking kill people, like literally, like that's what you're trained for. And then you go to combat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then people try to kill you. And it's
Mm.
like, okay, well, I'm going home, so I'm going to survive.
Yeah. Got to do what you got
So
to do.
you do what you got to do. So this is what it comes down to, right? After 2 tours of that, and there's no transition back into civilian life. Um, you know, I was angry,
Mhm.
and I've always kept myself in good shape, like, and I'm in good shape, and I'm aggressive, and people would look at me wrong, and I'd be like, really? Okay, not a problem. I'll straighten you out.
Yeah.
I was that guy. I'll straighten you out. Like, oh, you want to road rage with me? Cool. Like, let's get out. Let's see how this ends for you. And I realized that it was terrible. You know,
Yeah.
when I realized it was really terrible, I had just gotten out, and one day I saw bruises on my sister's arm,
Mm.
and you could tell it was like a
Mhm.
like a hand. And I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And she's like, "Don't worry about it." I was like, "Oh no, we're gonna worry about it. We're gonna worry about it." And I was like, "Where is he?"
Mm.
And I went straight to his house, and he met me with a bat, and I was like, "You're gonna need that." You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I handled that situation, and the police came, and the police were like, "Chris Warrens, you just got out of the military, combat veteran, Purple Heart recipient." I was like, "Yes, sir." They're like, Get out of here right now. Leave. Don't let us catch you again, because this is your one chance." And I realized it, and I was like, "Man."
Was that a favor or was that a mark against you? Were they trying to give you like a pass because of your history, or more like we're going to be harder on you next time because of your history?
I think it was a pass, but shortly thereafter, I applied for my pistol permit and it was denied.
Mm.
So I realized that I had all these problems, right? All these
Yeah.
anger problems, and like no man could match me. Honestly, I mean, you just pulled me out of combat, and like I still saw combat.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset. It's a different level. So I went to the Department of the VA, and I
Mm.
was like, "Hey, I need help." And that's shunned. Like, you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
You're not supposed to talk. Stop being a pussy. Just suck it up. And they were like, "Yeah, cool. Here, take all these drugs." And
Meds. Yep.
I'm like, "No." And they're like, "You need to take these drugs." I'm like, "Hey, I did some research, and it looks like meditation also can heal PTSD." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, you could do that too." Hmm. So to answer your question, yes. So I mean, this was probably about, I don't know, like, it's hard to put my hand on it, like 10 years, 12 years ago,
Hmm.
started meditating.
Yeah.
So rather than getting up, drinking coffee, and using the Alex Hormozy style of drink coffee, go to work, which is what I did because I was also very good at building a business.
Mm.
Wake up, drink coffee, go to work. I would wake up, drink coffee, and meditate, then go to work. And I just started like learning how to do it.
Yeah.
And what started happening was I noticed my temper grew. Like, I was not as short fused. I was still short fused, but it like wasn't as bad.
Mm.
You know, you could reel me in, but to answer your question fundamentally, yes.
And is that because when there was moments where you were feeling short, you could reel yourself in, or you just quit having those short fuse moments because of the work you were doing?
It started as recognizing it and just being slower on the aggressive response, like being mindful in the moment and be like, "Whoa, I'm getting angry right now. Like, take some deep breaths, Chris."
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we put it in elevate. Same thing for addiction to overcome it. Go, walk yourself, get yourself through the triggers without just reacting and using like
Exactly.
immediately.
Yeah. Trauma is trauma,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's combat or addiction, it's fucking trauma.
Yep.
And if you could recognize it and have the emotional intelligence and understand the trigger, and I don't know how you teach it, but I just redirect it.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we teach them, to redirect and find your breath and work through it.
Exactly.
And just until however long that takes to ride that out and then get to the other side. And then, you're good to go without, medicating, without turning to something to get you through it. You
Yeah.
get yourself through it. You have the tool. And no matter where you are, you have it wherever you go.
Yeah, Tony and I were just talking about this a couple hours ago. We were like basically talking to men. It's like, boys, like if you can't handle your anger, like you got a serious problem.
Yeah.
And we started talking about what we do. Now, 15 years later, I don't have anger problems. I do have a little bit of anger. Anger is a natural emotion, but I don't have problems with it because I could recognize it. I recognize it. You know what I do? I go wash the dishes.
Very
I,
productive. Nice. Yeah.
no, it like completely changes the emotion.
Yeah.
Or I sweep the floor, completely changes the emotion. Or if I'm like really riled up, I go walk the dog.
Yeah.
Oh, but really, all I need to do now is just literally take a couple deep breaths. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Let's move on. You know, so that's just the polarity between starting and 15 years later.
Well, and I think you hit it on the head. It's like it takes consistency and practice and
Exactly.
doing it. Like you didn't go from where you were to where you are overnight just by taking 2 deep breaths. Like there was a lot of work that
Yeah.
went into that so that now
Yeah.
that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
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 But I think that's where like a lot of people give up is the consistency, right? They don't see immediate results. So they're just like, that doesn't work. Give me like the quick fix. And they don't want to put in the work and the time when they're not seeing the immediate results.
Well, let's use the parallels here, right? Okay, you and I are both in awesome shape, right? How long you been working out?
Yeah, like 12 years at least.
Yeah, 27 years.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I grew up in gyms. Like my mom was like Jane Fonda in the 80s, like teaching aerobics, like
Oh, yeah.
headband, leotard, socks. And I'm like in the
Leg
child
warmers.
care. Yeah, I'm in the child care, like beating everybody up,
Oh,
in the
yeah.
80s.
Oh, yeah.
Grew up in gyms, but it takes 12 years. That's a decade plus to build your body.
Right. Well,
Say,
and that's why I tell everybody, just because I got sober didn't mean that like I got healthy and I didn't even do it till after I had kids. But it can be done if I can do it at my age, like anybody could do it.
and you've been in business for 3 decades?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah. 15 years for me, right? This is year 15. Yeah, we have success now. Yeah, we have healthy bodies now.
Yeah.
Yes, I have mindfulness now. It's just reps every day. Like, it doesn't matter how boring and mundane
Yeah.
and however much you get in your head. It's like, listen, 50% of the time, I don't want to be in the gym. I really
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
So in the morning, I still get up, go in the hot tub. I like to meditate in the hot tub. I love meditating in water. I think we talked about that, right?
Hmm.
Um, I don't feel like at 4 o'clock in the morning getting out of bed, getting into a hot tub that's 102 degrees to meditate. I don't. I'd rather roll over and go back to bed, but I
Yeah.
do it. It's not perfect all the time. My businesses, they're not perfect, but I show up every day and I put in that work in the gym, in
Hmm.
meditation, in the businesses, in developing my people. My people, they're hitters.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's not perfect, but you got to get it done. You got to try. You got to just stay after it. Got to build the habit. Go to the gym 7 days a week or do fitness 7 days a week. Meditate 7 days a week. Build your business 7 days a week.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people, because, especially in today's times, we're taught work balance life, you need your time off. You can't. And so I
Yeah.
think when people like you speak, you're just crazy. It's just your military background. But, you can't put that much time into stuff. You've got to have other areas of your life.
I
But the
think
reality is, if you want to kick ass in any area of your life, you got to put more than the allotted normal time to become really proficient in that area.
let's can we unpack that?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm crazy focused,
Yeah.
right? To degrees that most people aren't. That's cool. Like people could look down on that. That's cool. However, we don't value the same things is really what it is. And that's okay. I have nothing against those type of people.
Yeah.
I'm the type of dude that I still want to see you win and be happy, even though you might not like me. I don't care. I don't care if you don't like me because I know I'm not for everyone. But here's the thing: we value, and when I say we, I mean me and someone who thinks those statements are crazy. We value different things. I am my visions. My, I have my death reverse engineered. I have 100 years. I'm pointing to the whiteboard. It's right there because I look at it every day.
Yeah.
I have 100 years after my death reverse engineered. We want different things. You
Yeah.
understand? Like,
Yeah.
I want impact in the multi billions through my writings on mindset. That
Mhm.
doesn't happen by putting in 8 hours a day and then fucking off all weekends. No, you don't live in elite shape by trying a few days a week and then fucking off for the rest of the week with nutrition and sleep and exercise. If you're a leader and you're only on Monday through Friday and you're not there for your people on the weekends, if something comes up, that's not leadership. You're not going to develop them. Your business isn't going to grow if you put in a few hours. Listen, I've read the books. Oh, 4 hour workday. Great. If you can harness the energy needed to put that quality out, beautiful. That's some high level stuff. But your business isn't going to grow to a magnitude of world impact by putting in a few hours a day and fucking off on the weekend. It's just not how it goes. And besides, I enjoy this.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I want to wake up at 4 a.m. on a Sunday, do my morning routine, go to the gym, and then put a full day in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go out to dinner, or we're Italian, so we eat in the afternoon. So if my family wants to eat, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But I just put in a 10-hour day. So what's balance?
Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoy what I do. I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. You probably do too. And if someone thinks what I'm saying is crazy, that's cool. I see your perspective, but we just want different things.
Yeah, it's funny because of my business, I was groomed into it without even realizing it. We're a 24/7 kind of operation. It's life or death. You got somebody coming in at midnight on a Sunday night, you're going to deliver detox to them at, that time. And so for me, it's always just been normal. That's how it is.
Selfless. It's
Yeah, it's just how it
selfless.
is. And so it's odd to me, for example, like I have, family members who do their 8 to 5 and they're just
Cool.
yeah, it's cool for them, but they're also
Yeah.
kind of miserable because
Yeah.
it's just what they do. And so, yeah, I don't know any different. I love it. I could never do any other way because that's just not for me. I like the high energy. I like the excitement. I like constantly being able to solve problems or do things, when it's quiet in my
Yes.
business, things are wrong. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
uh-oh, it's way too quiet around here. There's something not right. So I appreciate and I embrace it for sure.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, my one of my closest friends, 9 to 5 teacher, maybe makes 50 grand a year. Somewhat happy. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
That's what's good for you? You wanted to go through grad school to do that? Okay, cool. Whatever. But he's not happy for me.
Right.
You understand? Like, but I don't care. I don't like my value doesn't weigh on his opinion. You know what I mean? But you know what's really cool when and you know how this goes when someone DMs you that you don't know and they're like, "Oh my God, you saved my life." And I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
What are you what are you talking about? Oh, Chris, I read your book on a recommendation. Now I'm listening to your podcast and I follow your content and you saved my life. And I'm like, yeah,
That's what it's all about.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I didn't save your life. You did.
Yeah.
I just held the door open for you. I rest my value on that.
Well, and that's what gives us our true happiness. It's not us working, as much as we do and putting on all that. It's the ability to make an impact and save people and help people. And I think that's the problem with so many jobs is they're just jobs. And whether they work them 40 or 80, it's still just a job and there's no pleasure there. And so that's where like that unhappiness comes from. Like you got to live with purpose. You got to enjoy what you do.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's even better if your job is your purpose. Then you're not having to create that outside of your job just to be fulfilled.
And that's the high level stuff right there.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people might not understand that statement because it's very enlightened and it's a very high level statement. And that's the truth. If you get to live your purpose, you don't need, like, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Last year I went away for the first time since 2020. I went to Europe for 2.5 weeks,
Mm,
and I really struggled.
mm,
I really struggled within the first week. I was like, I don't, I'm not solving any problems.
mm.
I have no one to lead. I don't, I don't, I'm not good with this.
Yeah.
And trust me, I was fucking running around. I was in Amsterdam. I was running around Europe. I was in the Isle of Man for the TT races. It's like an extravagant motorcycle race.
Mm.
I mean, VIP treatment. I mean, everything. We stayed at a hotel that's reserved for politicians and royalty in Amsterdam. There's only 6 rooms.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, really nice stuff. And I was like, I need to do something here.
Yeah.
I'm not living my purpose. This is too much. I want to go back. And it's not codependency. It's not any of that bullshit that people throw out. It's not living your purpose.
Yeah.
And when you get to that point in life, like, and there are people way higher to us that talk about that. Think about Gary Vee. Andy was on your show. Same thing. You take Andy's life away from him, dude would probably fucking hang himself.
In a heartbeat.
Like, you take our purpose away,
Yeah.
that's it. We're done.
Yeah. 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 I've had many people like, well, what's your plan B? I'm like, why would I ever have a plan
What
B?
the fuck is a plan B?
Why do I want that? Like, why would I go try to recreate what I'm already doing? Like, this is perfect life. Why would I change that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which is,
besides, you get to
okay.
meet cool people.
Well, right. Which, yeah, you were definitely one of them that I got to meet at Evolve, which was very cool.
Except you didn't want to take my workouts.
I did it. What do you
One
mean?
day.
I kicked ass in that gym.
You and Tom
I won
did.
the VIP.
You and Tom definitely kicked butt. You guys did. Did you see that picture that's on the
How happy
Evolve
was
page?
Tom? He could not believe that I was carrying him across the gym. He's like, "Oh my god!"
You remember? I was like, okay, guys. All right. So let's paint the picture for everyone listening. So I was teaching a workout for a group. I think, what was there, 7, 8 people, something like that.
Yeah.
And the gym we were using, there was not weights. So I have a background in the fitness industry. That's how I came up.
Yeah.
Owning gyms, personal trainer, so on and so forth. So I decided to do all body weight exercises with everyone. And we did buddy carries. We had to put a buddy on your back, right? And walk with your buddy on your back. Now I go, all right, guys, pick a partner your size. And I see Tom and you link up, and I'm like, this is like a 70-pound difference here, maybe 80-pound difference. This is not going to work. Tom jumps on your back. You're running with him on your back. I was really impressed.
See, I knew it. Well, you didn't see the first time. You're like, oh, did you even do that? I'm like, are you kidding me? How did you miss that? You know, I did that.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Tom was surprised. He's like, dude, I felt your like legs kind of buckle. And then you just like straighten them out. And I was like, yeah, I got challenged. You know what got me challenged is you're like, oh no, you probably can't. Maybe you should just put Paula on your back. And I was like, excuse me. Like, that's the best way to get me to do something is tell me I can't or shouldn't do it. So I was like, get on there, Tom. We're going. Let me adjust your hands so they're not, holding on. But
oh yeah, did he
no,
accidentally
he didn't
do that?
No, I just made sure that it wasn't awkward for him. I just set him up correctly.
It's like, guys, if you're partnered with a girl, don't grab their chests. Like, please, like, can we not have a fucking problem here, please?
For sure. So
But
yes, look, you should have been happy. I was on West Coast time, so that was like 3 a.m. that I was in there. That was challenging for me.
I was happy. I was really happy. And then the last day, there was like 15 people.
Yeah. And I showed up like I didn't even realize.
You showed up when we were done. You showed up at like 7, I think.
Oh,
and I or 7:15. I smoked everyone for 45 minutes. And you're like, okay, Chris. And I'm like, we're done. We're going to breakfast.
I know. It's like, what do you mean you're already done? I just got here. What do you mean?
Well, our schedule was tight.
Yeah.
during that week, regardless if you were, you know, a student or a guide. Like it was really, really tight. So if
Yeah.
I wanted to get everything done, I had to move really fast those days, you know, because like I have a rigid morning routine and I really want to get my workouts in, but I'm teaching the workout and then we're teaching all day and then there's no time afterwards because you just basically pass out on the bed.
Yeah. 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 They were some long days. I needed a little recovery after that on the bus ride back to the airport. I like slept. I curled up in the corner and just slept. I was
I heard you guys
exhausted.
got lost.
Did we? I didn't notice if we did.
I guess some wrong turns
They
were
played it
taken.
off well. I do recall us going down some side streets, but I was
Yeah.
sleeping. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I got to the airport. I even got on an earlier flight. I was pretty stoked.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a beautiful location. I was really stoked to be out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. It was really a good time.
Yeah. So with that is I listened to your whole book.
Oh yeah.
Did not read it because I lost it, but I did listen to the whole thing. So here's my curiosity. So you were
Mm.
raised religious, correct?
Yeah, I was raised Roman Catholic, baptized and confirmed.
Okay. And then what led you to, okay, so were you rebellious against that, or you just were like, when you became an adult and you could choose or not choose that?
No. No. I went to war.
Okay.
When you go to war and you witness war, combat, it changes things. It changes everything. It changes everything within you.
Hmm.
Um, and you know, I really struggled with the idea of there being a God with seeing combat every day.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes every day we were getting into fights. And you know, when you get into fights in combat, there's fucking bombs going off, rockets getting shot, machine guns getting shot, all of it at you. And if they can get close enough, they're gonna cut your fucking head off
Yeah.
while you're alive on video. And while they're chanting that God is sending them. So initially, I had a really bad taste in my mouth for Islam, but I was generalizing. You
Mm.
know, I was like, all of Islam is retarded because they're trying to kill me. But the extremists, the
Yeah.
Islamic extremists that hunted me were extremists. It wasn't the entire religion. However, that I generalized it at the time.
Sure.
So, you know, these people would try to kill you in the name of God. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like Christianity and Islam isn't that much different. Like Christianity and Judaism, like it's all pretty much the same. It's pretty fucking similar.
Yeah.
Like, why are you okay? You believe in a different prophet. Okay, fine. You believe in Muhammad. We believe in Jesus, but it's okay for your God to say to kill us because we're of a different religion. I don't understand. And I
Yeah.
really started questioning things. And I was like, man, I don't know about this shit. And I became atheist. I was definitely atheist for a while.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, you asked how I was raised, right? And then what happened?
Yeah. No, this is
Yeah.
perfect. This is exactly the story I was looking.
So I was like, man, I got out of the army. I already said that I started meditating. And a lot of the teachers that teach meditation are Buddhist. A
Yeah.
lot of the teachers that teach meditation are religious. So God started getting presented back into my life and energy started getting presented into my life and the universe started getting presented and the laws of the universe specifically and the you know
Hmm.
the law that everybody has heard of is a law of attraction.
Hmm.
However, that's just one law of the universe. And you know, ever since The Secret came out, oh, the law of attraction. But anyways, the point is, all of these people that I was learning from, like one of the first people I started studying was Emerson. He was writing in the 1850s on law of attraction, on mindfulness, on laws of the universe, laws of compounding return, laws of I'm looking at his book. I should be able to reference more, but um anyways, that talk was introduced back into my life.
Mhm.
And as I started as a man, as an adult, as coming back into belief, my beliefs grew differently. My beliefs weren't growing towards singular God. And in my very humble opinion, in a very constrained manner. A lot of people refer to religion as dogmatic and constrained. And whether you agree with that or not, I don't really care. But I looked at it as not the avenue of approach that I wanted to take. I believed in something bigger than a singular God. I believed in energy.
Yeah.
I started believing in energy moving throughout our universe. Like, for instance, I can feel the energy in America right now. I could feel the energy globally. I could
Yeah.
feel what's going on. Like when the banks were collapsing, I felt it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the news. I haven't had cable in a decade. I don't fucking watch that bullshit. And here, want a word to the wise? If you have cable, cancel it. Don't watch the news. But that's not the point. The
It's hard
point
to watch
is,
football and basketball without it, though.
sure, yeah. Well, I mean, you got special channels for that.
I do.
But yeah, exactly. So, but anyways, like my belief system changed.
Yeah.
And, I do believe in a God. I just don't believe as a saving grace and the answer to everything. I believe that people that think that are closed minded.
Well, I think there's just so many ways to quote unquote skin a cat, and whatever speaks to your heart is your heart. And I think as long as everybody were open to everybody else's belief, just like the Islam's, like if we all just understood, I think some belief is better than no belief, whatever that
Agreed.
is. And you just got to find the one that speaks to you. And so I approached you because I could tell right away that your belief system was similar to mine. We didn't even have that conversation, but I could just tell energetically that we were on the same page when it came to that. And so you dedicate a lot of your morning routine to that. There's
To
positive,
prayer.
yeah,
Yeah.
but in a different way.
Yeah. And I should reframe. Let me reframe. I don't believe that just believing in God is constraining and or closed minded. I believe if you preach, that is the only answer. It's closed minded and constraining. And I should have framed it that way better. But going back to the morning routine, it's prayer. I'm just praying, you know. Um, I'm very rigid with my morning routine. It's what I teach. It's, one of the chapters in my book, as you know. And I don't believe you need a morning routine to be rich. I don't believe you need a morning
Mm.
routine to be successful. I don't believe you need my morning routine. I know that my morning routine works for me. And now the thousands of people that have taken it changed whatever they want to change and it works for them.
Yeah.
There's no one best way of doing it. It's what's best for you. It's like, Chris, what's the best diet? For 10 years, I had the same answer. The one that works for you. Right. So, my morning routine, I mean, I'm up at 4 o'clock, 7 days a week, right? Every single day for years outside of like being ill, like need to go back to sleep, which I can count on one hand since I've been doing this. I've done it. Doesn't matter if I'm traveling, doesn't matter if I'm not feeling well, if I want to go back to sleep. Maybe there's someone in my bed that I want to turn over and cuddle. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. always do it. And I built that discipline. And all I'm doing is meditation, reading, writing gratitude, and affirmations. Affirmations because I've had to change my subconscious programming. Like, for
Yeah.
instance, Chris, no one's coming to saw your head off. Oh, hmm. I had to change that because I didn't feel safe
Mm,
after going to combat for 26 months.
yeah.
Or um, be open to receiving, Chris. Huh. I could receive too. Whew. Interesting. So many things I had to rewrite in my subconscious programming to be able to live a pretty fucking cool life in the conscious. So, do you need affirmations? No. Could you use affirmations? Yeah. If you had a fucked up environment growing up and maybe your beginning part of your adult life, you want to change that? Affirmations. You want to be able to harness good stuff? Understand gratitude.
Yeah.
I gratitude journal. Grown ass man. Turning 38 in, I don't know, like 6 weeks. Whatever, verbs you want to describe me as, masculine, whatever. I gratitude journal every day.
Do
Thank you so
you
much.
do you say okay, good. So that I want to touch on that because there's different opinions on that. Do you
Yep.
think are you grateful for what you have or are you
Yeah.
grateful for what you expect you're going to have? Or both?
It's 80 to 90% what I have, 10 to 20% of what I want.
Okay.
But I believe you have to have that fundamental thank you for what you have and harness gratitude
Yeah.
to be able to attract in what you desire. So like someone like me, like I'll always thank for my health,
Yeah.
for my family's health, for my team's health, for my bed, for my pillow, for my toilet, for my shower, for a roof. You know what I mean? Like basics. I remember I was talking to this author. Her name's Joy. Was it Joy I was talking to? Joy or Kim? One or the other. They're partners. Um, and she's like, Chris, do you have gratitude for the ants below your feet? And I was like, she has a gratitude company. Like her company is like gratitude box.
Oh wow.
And I was like, no, I don't have gratitude for the ants. She goes, Chris, if it wasn't for the ants, the ground wouldn't be irrigated and there could be flooding and you wouldn't have grass. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm grateful for ants.
Yeah. Thank you, Aunt.
Yeah, thank you. And like, but that's what gratitude is, right?
Yeah.
Gratitude is being thankful for what you have in your life. Like, how much of the world doesn't have electricity,
Right.
doesn't have a refrigerator full of food? I have a walk-in closet full of clothes, let alone nice stuff.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll write about that. Thank you for my refrigerator full of food. Thank you for the electricity. Thank you for my closet full of sports jackets. You know what I
With the
mean? Like
pocket, with the pocket
with
square.
the square. Yeah. Yeah. I rock the square. Hell
I
yeah.
do. I
Yeah.
do. But don't you also think that gratitude is just the best cure for depression? Like it's
Yeah.
difficult to be depressed when you start counting your blessings and you start really feeling like how lucky we are compared to how bad it could be. It's hard to be upset when you look at it in a different way. Reframe that every day.
It's all in the reframe. And to answer your question, yes. And like, listen, I understand psychology, but I don't have a formal education in it. Like I've read a shitload on it. And this is the answer I'm going to give. Depression's a real thing. I've been depressed. I'm not. And I'm almost positive it came through gratitude and meditation.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Okay. What's depression? It's a chemical imbalance, right? It's a chemical imbalance with inside your body. Okay. Understood. Get it. Serious. Much respect for anyone going through it. Hopefully you're trying to get out of it. But here's the thing. Gratitude can change the chemical balance in your body and it's free
Yeah.
and it's not a drug, but you got to put in the reps because the chemicals in your body, your chemical makeup in your body thrives off your emotion. Your emotion sets the tone within your body. If you have gratitude running through you, or you try to have gratitude running through you, your chemical makeup's not going to be depression. Your chemical makeup's going to be like, wow, I have food to eat today. I don't know about you, but I've been in positions where I didn't have food to eat.
Yeah.
I've been in positions where I haven't showered for 2 weeks, where I haven't had a pillow, where I haven't had a toilet, where we haven't had electricity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like it's easy to be grateful to have exotic cars and nice watches and whatever, beautiful homes. Yeah, but that comes with appreciating what you already have. So I
Mm.
think I think
But
gratitude.
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you,
I
but I'm
just
thinking so maybe this is part of what's wrong with society today is a lot of the younger people have never had lack. They don't know what it's like to not have running water, roof over their head, pillows, blankets, food, like, and so it's hard for them to feel appreciative because it's almost just expected because it's always been that way.
so yes. So the poor in America are given cell phones, TVs, food,
Yeah.
housing. Okay. I don't know the exact statistic. However, it's quite large. And the poor in the rest of the world would kill you for a fucking refrigerator.
Right.
Okay. Yes. They don't know what people don't know what I grew up poor.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Eh,
like, I'm not talking about negatively. I just know I'll never go back ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, long story short, yeah, if you don't have lack, if you haven't been in the situation where people are trying to cut your fucking head off on YouTube, right, or on Al Jazeera, yeah, it's probably not as easy to be able to harness perspective and gratitude. However, we live in a world where you can go on your phone and look at pictures of people that are poor in other countries and they'll kill you for the food that you throw away in your fucking trash. So it doesn't mean that you don't understand it, because you can understand it if you want to understand it. If you want to understand gratitude, if you want to understand lack, if you want to understand how to be prosperous, if you want to understand how to be abundant, if you want to understand any of that, it all starts with being thankful for waking up and being healthy.
And what we have. Yeah. Yeah, I've recently had to relook at things as far as like reframe and positive affirmations because I realized I have a block on receiving. I always assumed that there would be a string attached or something I'd be obligated to, and so I naturally would almost block any type of receiving because I didn't want what would come with that. And so I've had to really sort of work on unconditional receiving. But like you said, it's a programming that just has been there for a long time. That's taking me a long time to truly feel.
And like we talked about a few weeks ago, it could be in a different life.
Right.
And that's the thing. When you go and try and find, if you believe in that sort of thing, you go and try and find this trauma or find this problem. It might not be in this life, so you got to like look really deep when it comes to these sorts of things. And like, I mean, I could talk about this if you want me to, but fundamentally, you doing the work to find it
Yeah.
is steps in the direction that 99% of people won't ever take.
Yeah. I call it the shadow work. I didn't originate that. It's very popular, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm like, dude, I got to go all in. What the heck is happening? Like, and I feel like the weight of responsibility as a leader in what I do, that I need to do this. It is my obligation, not just for myself, but for the world, to be willing to go in there and figure it out.
So selfless of you to say that. So
Oh,
like high level selfless of you to say that. I respect the hell out of that.
I appreciate it. I like it. It's like a mystery. Like,
Yeah.
let's figure this shit out, man. I'm like all in. Like, what can I do? What more can I do? Let's go more into that. Let's figure it out because it's kind of cool. It's kind of like an unknown mystery that we're trying to unravel. And like what I told you, and I know I didn't come out right the first time I talked to you, but also I think relate trauma. I know I was, as big monumental situations that occurred to us or in our lives, like what you went through with war. But sometimes trauma is not that big, but it still affects you in a way that you're not realizing.
Yeah,
Those are
because
the easy traumas to identify.
yeah.
It's like obvious. It's the ones
Mhm.
that you don't realize that are in there that are the ones that are harder to locate and handle.
Some of the approaches that I take with people is specifically women, right? Is I'll stand in front of the mirror with them. I'll put them in front of the mirror and I'll stand right next to them. And I'll be like, "What do you see?"
Mm.
And they'll be like, "This, that, everything else." I'll be like, "Okay. What positive things do you see?" And you don't get an answer and you're like, "Okay. All right. So talk to me. All right. Tell me about growing up. Who belittled you?
Mm.
Who whatever the things that are coming up. Who made you feel guilty? Who manipulated you?
Right.
Yeah. Who? Dad? Mm, okay. When what is the biggest event that stands out to you? Like, what do you remember? You're like, oh, you know, this thing happened and I was a little girl and I didn't feel safe. And this was said. Okay. All right, cool. Well, sounds like we found something, and like it really just takes that kind of facing yourself
Yeah.
to uncover the shadows. And listen, I'm giving the cliff notes, but it's truth, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you have the strength to be able to do that, and like, of course, like people in my life have me, and I'll stand in front of the fucking mirror with you and be like, all right, what's the deal? What do you
Yeah.
see? Because when I looked in the mirror when I came back from war, I saw a monster.
Mm.
An absolute like I physically saw a demon. It wasn't a human. I
Yeah.
hated it. And I was like, man, I got to change this. Now I look in the mirror and I'm like, you're going a little gray there, CW, with salt and pepper. You're still handsome. And I'm like, it's not a demon. You know what I mean? So like the point is like if you could do that work,
Yeah.
if you could put time into it, and then the next step is, especially if you meditate, ask. When you go into meditation, ask yourself, where is this? What's the trauma? Who caused it? Or one of the questions or all of the questions. And if you're connected, you get the answers. When I shut my eyes and when I want a question, I get it immediately. However, years ago, sometimes it would come in the form of an email, or I'd hear it on the radio, or my friend would call me a week later and I'd be like, whoa, there's my answer. But
Yeah.
now it's just,
Instantaneous because you've
yeah,
done the reps. You've
yeah,
created that connection where you get the
yep,
instant result.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
So
love that. I
does that
love
answer the question?
yes.
Yeah. Because
Which
you
question
know
was
how,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
you know how we are. We just go and go and go and go. And then I sit here and I'm like, shit, what was I supposed to answer?
No, you answered it well, and it was exactly what I was intrigued about because one of the books that you referenced in there, and I was listening to it, and it very much discussed, calling in different passages in the Bible as well as like part of the.
Catherine.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I was interested with you. Like, have you completely? Is it just God for you, or do we still you still utilize the Bible and the good points in that, or is it more just like The Secret now, like as far as law of attraction and whatnot, or is it sort of a melding of all the three? Is what works best for you?
Yeah, it's a meld. I believe the Christian Bible is a book on the law of attraction. I mean, fundamentally,
Hmm.
the law of attraction, laws of the universe predate the Bible.
Yeah.
So most people don't know this, but my second book is done. I'm
Ooh.
just trying to get it published, which is very difficult to get into major publishing houses if you're not Ed Milet or Andy Frisella or Alex Harmozy. But anyways,
Mm.
I researched it. The title of the book is Enlightened Entrepreneur. It's a
Mm.
system to be an enlightened entrepreneur. It's fucking awesome. But anyways, 5,000 years. It predates the Bible by 5,000 years, give or take.
Yeah.
The Bible is a book on the law of attraction. Okay. But no, I don't believe in singular. I believe in a meld. And when I pray, I pray to my dad. I pray to God. I pray to Archangel Michael, and
Mm.
I pray to my higher self. All of them. And I know when I'm meditating, I know who's there and when they're coming and what they're saying. I know who's who.
And when you say dad, you mean like your earth father that
Yeah.
died. Okay. Cause
Yeah.
that was, I was
Mhm.
like, do you mean Jesus or what do you,
Yeah.
okay.
No,
Gotcha.
no, my dad,
Yeah.
my dad died while I was in Iraq in 2006.
Oh,
And I knew he was dying, like I mentioned, like he was dying when I was in grade school.
yeah.
And he had cancer and it came back, and you know, you know how cancer is. And
Mhm.
so like if I'm going through a tough time, or like I need a really good answer, I'll meditate, I'll pray to him, and then I'll meditate, and I'll call my dad in. And I believe that I am technically a medium. Technically, I'm definitely an empath, and I'm definitely psychic.
Mm.
But I don't take those powers and use them with other people. I just use them on me and like people in my circle. I pray for people in my circle, in my tribe. But I'll call my dad in, and boom, he appears. And the conversation that I'll have with him is, typically I'll be like, "Hey man, listen, like, I got this situation going on, like, what do you think?" And he always gives me the same answers. Always. He's like, "Chris, patience."
Mm.
I'm like, "Oh."
Mm. Yep.
And then he'll say, "Give up and trust." And I'll be like, "Oh man, my skin's tightening right now,
Yeah.
Um, and he'll be like, "Give up and trust. Patience, Chris. Patience. Slow down. You're not going anywhere fast by yourself. Relax. You know the old saying, you want to move fast, move alone. You want to move far, move together. Patience." And I know what my weaknesses are.
Yeah. Same. I
Patience.
try to force everything.
Yeah.
I action everything.
Yeah. And um so yeah, and like, and I'll use, the whole line from Ed, like, "God, tell me about me." And
Yeah.
God will come in and be like, bang, 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 bang. Archangel Michael is he's a defender, is
Yeah.
what he is. I'm the defender. Like, you know what I mean? I'm unbeaten. I'm here. I'm still here. And in this life anyways, and Archangel Michael's the defender of everyone, right? So when I talk to him, and I'll be talking to him about specific things, and the person that I talk to most is my higher self. I mean, that stuff's some powerful stuff. Like, if you can harness it,
Yeah.
and the key is understanding the difference between ego and your higher self. But this is like really high level shit we're talking about, which is also what I wrote my next book on. And I actually got it kicked back from the first person I sent it to, who has 12 books published.
Mm.
And he's like, "Chris, this is fucking high level shit. Like, you need to dumb it down." And I'm like, "Hell no.
Mm.
I'm not dumbing shit down." But the point that I'm getting at is, if you can connect to your higher self and understand the difference between the answers coming from your ego and difference in the answers coming from your higher self, you're unstoppable. And let's just be honest here. Everybody has an ego.
Mm.
Egos are good. Understanding the ego is the key, and also where everybody goes wrong.
Yeah, and realizing, yeah, what's driving it? Is it the ego or is it, survival and it's the right thing to do? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Eh, Go ahead.
I'm very intuitive.
I know. Yeah, I could tell.
So how does it come through for you? Do you see auras or you just feel people's energies?
Both. Both. When I'm meditating specifically, uh, higher self is auras, is colors. It's almost like vibrational.
Hmm.
Um, God is white.
Hmm.
God's white. You know, my dad, I see him in his like 40s.
Nice.
I see him in his 40s. Like I remember, well, I remember because my dad was like 45 when he had me in 85. So I remember what he looked like.
Yeah.
And he's got one of my dogs with him. He's got one of my cats with him. He's got a bald eagle flying with him. I'm like, what is this, a circus? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I love
It's
that.
weird. Like,
Those are all great symbologies though. Like they each have something very cool attached to that.
right?
Yeah.
But Archangel Michael is like this dark presence. And but that's just when I'm meditating, like the real sauce is when you'd get these answers throughout the day. And it always comes energetically with me, and it always comes through my skin. It
Mm.
always comes through my skin. And understanding and being connected to these nudges, a lot of people don't know what I'm about to say. All right, there's three consciousnesses. Consciousness, three consciousnesses, however it's said.
Yeah.
There's your subconscious, which is your programming, how you were raised, your thoughts, your beliefs, how to hold your finger up when you say one opposed to this, right? It's true. There's your conscious, which is what we're in right now, right? Which is less than 5% of your decision making. 95% is through your subconscious. And then there's your superconscious. Your superconscious is all your deliveries from whatever your belief system is. And if you can connect to that shit, you're unstoppable in business and life and relationships and wealth, anything, health.
Yeah. It's learning to tap into that or accessing it, which again, that's where the work comes from, freeing yourself up enough from paying attention to all this stuff so that you're open to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I have these abstract beliefs, but fundamentally, it's what has worked for me, and is now working with. I shouldn't say now, but also has worked for other people. But now is being learned from me and changing people's lives. To however it works for them, and it's just amazing. Like I don't. It's not about money. I don't care. The majority of people I teach is for free. I mean, Evolve, anybody else that wanted me for a week would have gotten a bill for 100 grand.
Mm.
We all volunteered our time.
Oh,
Eh,
wow.
all of us, every single guide volunteered and paid for our own travel.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah. And
But
I'm
the point
appreciative for to all of you for sure.
and I appreciate you guys. It's not about, and that's the point. It's not about the money.
Right.
It's not about the money. 95% of I give 95%. The 5% I ask for has a serious price tag on it. But the point is, I'll teach anybody that wants to learn and that will do the work. Whether you can afford me, I have a fucking nonprofit
Mm.
literally based at teaching this for free. So if someone wants to learn it and they really want to change their life, I'll hold the door open, but you got to walk through it.
Yeah. Which
You know,
again, you
you
got to
know
do the
that
work.
you got to do the work. You know that you hold the door open for people in your industry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I wish, I could help more, but it is what it is. You still got to survive.
Patience,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. All right. So is my aura purple or not?
Well,
I just like to think it is because of my hair, but
I gotta say, I see some purple.
Okay, good. Just wanted to verify that was actually true.
It's beautiful. Beautiful energy, beautiful aura, beautiful everything. You're just a beautiful soul is what it is.
Well, I appreciate that. Aw, you just made me yeah, that feels nice to get gratitude. That was something I was not very good at for a long
You
time,
received it.
receiving gratitude. I
You received
received
it.
it.
Good job.
I know. I know. That's new for me. That's something one of those things we're working on.
But you're comfortable, right? Like we're in a very comfortable setting right now. Like and other people are gonna hear this, right? but you and I are comfortable in our conversation, and you're open to receiving. I think what a lot of people, including myself, not being able to receive was I always had my guard up.
Hmm.
I wasn't open to receiving because I was cynical and thought, well, there's something attached to this.
Yep.
Whether it's cynical or not, the point is I think I was. And but you're comfortable right now, and you'll receive the compliments. And here's the thing, here's a piece of advice that I learned from a really wise man. He said, you have two ears and one mouth, two ears and one mouth, so listen more and speak less.
Mm.
And if you really want to learn yourself, you learn yourself through other people's eyes. So how I see you is how I just told you. And because your guard's not up, you're comfortable to receive.
Hmm. That's very wise advice. And
Yeah.
not, I don't want to say it's not easy to follow, because if you're in the right place, you can easily receive that. But if you're not, like I've been in the past with my guard up, I
Yeah.
would have thought, okay, what do you want? You're only being nice to me because you want something. Like yeah, it's been
But
a change.
you're you're a woman, right? So like
Yeah.
and I don't mean that derogatory. I mean that like dudes are nice just to sleep with you. And like I know that because I'm a dude and I've been really nice to women. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, like I could see how that could be different. Like you when you go out in public, like you might be afraid for your life if guys come around and are harassing you, right? The guys don't come
I
around.
don't know about afraid for my life, but I
Okay,
definitely
all
have.
right. Some women that I've talked to, they get really sketched out and are afraid for their life if they're in a weird situation with a guy.
No, I feel like I could talk myself out of any situation. I'm probably my ego driven. I probably should be smarter.
No, no, that's the thing is you are smart. So, my example isn't going to work. So, but the point that I was going to get at is you've been conditioned the way you are, and I'm conditioned the way I am in the sense of I'm never scared, ever. Like, very rarely am I scared, but maybe a lot of women are because, men can overpower women typically,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely. Well, and I think that that is the case for a lot of women,
Yeah.
especially, in addiction. There's just so much drama of trauma that's been created because of dangerous lifestyles and
Yeah.
things like that happening for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely in your realm.
Yeah, for sure. So is there any final words of advice or anything that we didn't touch on that you think would be beneficial for our listeners to know or hear from you?
Yeah, you sure. You know, one of the if you're a guy listening, right? One of the best things you could do is just be vulnerable in your life, right? Just be vulnerable. Just open up, talk about things. Like as guys, we're raised pretty much not to, or at least my generation was the last one not to. I'm a geriatric millennial, right? Like
You're what?
a geriatric millennial. Like we should be Gen X, but we're technically not because we're in the early 80s.
Gotcha.
Um, just be vulnerable,
uh,
like dudes, like it's
yeah.
okay. Like talk about your shit. Like I'm over here talking about fucking combat,
Yeah.
and like I can't relate to give advice to women specifically, but what I can say is one of the biggest things that if I could go back and give myself advice, I would say ask for help, be vulnerable, ask for help, and be patient.
Mm,
Just be patient, enjoy the journey, be patient, have fun. You know what I mean? Like there's no end. It never ends. Trust me, I've built a body for almost 30 years. It never ends. You've built a business for almost 30 years. There's no end. Just
yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Have patience, have some fun. That's what it's all about. It's about the process.
Ah, I love that. And I definitely know it's about the journey. That's why I'm here. And I
Mhm.
try to have the fun along the way as well. Like meeting people like you, which I
Yeah.
guess we'll be seeing each other, gosh, in a month. in St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis. And my next call, actually, in 10 minutes, I just got asked to be a keynote in Frisco, which I know is in the state that you're in. I don't know how close it is to you. You're in Santa Barbara?
Oh no, I'm right next to San Francisco. I'm in Santa Cruz, which is only about an hour away.
Santa Cruz. So long story short, I'm going to be heading out there anyways for a keynote, which is super awesome. It will be my first keynote.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So anyways,
Congratulations.
long story. Thank you.
Yeah,
Long story short, yeah, we'll see each other next month. And then I'm definitely coming out there in September to speak. So
awesome.
we'll see more of each other. And then I'm sure I'll see you at the summits and whatnot. So
Yeah. Well, and just wear your shirts like that because around here they'll just think you're a big Warriors fan, so you'll fit right in. So that's perfect. Just wear, yeah, exactly. They'll be
just
like,
wear
"Oh,
my,
Warriors, yes, that's
yeah,
us."
check. I'll do that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You should. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was awesome talking to you. I knew it'd be a great conversation.
Yeah, incredible interviewer. You do a fantastic job opening people up, and grateful for the opportunity. So just know that I'm grateful and that I appreciate you. And I'll open you up next. What is it? Next week you're coming on?
Is it okay?
Is it next week?
I
I don't know.
I just
Something
look
like
at my
that.
daily calendar. I
Yeah,
can't
you're
think that far
next.
ahead.
You're coming on next.
Okay, deal.
All
Done.
right.
Well, good luck. Let's see what you can
Uh,
pull out of me. I'm excited.
you'd be surprised. I might look like a meathead, but I got a little bit of intelligence up here.
Nah, we're both high communicators, so it really doesn't take much. And we're very open and vulnerable, so it's good.
So thank you for the opportunity, and I appreciate you.
Awesome. Same. See you next week.